Stephen Speak, the podcast about everything and nothing. Don't forget to subscribe. Hello, welcome to Stephen Speak, episode number 19, I think this is. I hope you're doing well, hope you're feeling fantastically good. Today's topic, I've literally thought of just because I was there today, and I'm going to talk about IKEA. Not a sponsor, just because I was there today, and I just thought, I like IKEA. Well, we'll get into that. I like the premise of IKEA. I like what they kind of stand for, and I like, their ethos, really. Like, their storage solutions and how they keep things going for a long time. We'll get into that anyway. But I just visited the IKEA website just as literally 30 seconds before pressing record, because again, it's me and I don't really research apart from this. So on the About Us on the IKEA website, it basically says they have 474 shops in 64 different markets, which I'm guessing means countries, really. And the first IKEA was opened in 1958 in Sweden, non-surprisingly. Germany apparently has the most IKEA shops, and the biggest IKEA is in the Philippines. So there you go, some IKEA facts for you. I remember, I've never really been to an IKEA as a child or anything like that. I'd heard about them, never really been. Heard about them referenced on pop culture and on Friends and stuff like that. I remember Chandler saying, "Oh, IKEA, that's good." But I'd always fancied having some of their stuff, because it always looked good when it was advertised and things like that. And we studied them in. I did design at college. Didn't do anything with that, obviously. Sorry, just battered the microphone yet again. I didn't do anything with the old design stuff. Probably because I just started on the railway. That's a whole other story. I kind of talked about it in a previous extra speak, I think it was, about the army situation. Anyway, we went there today because I wanted some storage solutions for my Lego, funnily enough. So underneath my kitchen cabinet things that I've got in my cave, I wanted a storage solution which was 15 centimeters high, no bigger. And it's hard really to find things that fit underneath the cabinets. But I thought to myself, you know what? I bet IKEA have thought of that. I bet they've thought, people probably want to shove stuff underneath cabinets or whatever, or that's kind of the height of a shelf and stuff. So they did, because their designers are bloody ace apparently. So so we had a trip over to, my nearest one is Warrington, so about 45-minute drive if the traffic's good. And they said if the weather's good, the weather doesn't really matter. But we went over there, and it's the usual thing when you go IKEA. You kind of get excited until you get there, and then you see the amount of people. And today it was really busy, and that's a really popular shop, because I think the nearest other one is it's probably Birmingham, for us. So it gets a massive captive audience, really, from quite a spread, Liverpool and Chester, and obviously where I live in Cheshire. So yeah, there's a lot of people who go that one, and today was no different, really. It was really, really busy, and that's not IKEA's fault. That's great they're doing so well, to be fair. But yeah, I that's what takes the joy out of it for me. I like going when it's quieter, and then you don't have to queue for the restaurant, and it's but it's IKEA. You kind of expect that when you go to IKEA. You kind of expect that kind of everyone walking around with disillusionment on the face, because they've gone for a particular thing and they end up buying more than they wanted to, or they might have just walked around for 3 hours because the wife wanted to, or the husband even wanted to, because I do like going to IKEA. Probably me it was my suggestion going today, so I tracked Sarah there, really. I always find for me that I don't like leaving empty-handed, because it takes so long to walk around there as well. It takes quite a long time to get around the place. I always find that I don't want to kind of leave empty-handed, because I've just walked 4 miles around the building, and it's a drive away as well. It's not like it's just down the road. So even if it's something it's 20p or something like that, I'll just buy something just to say, well, it wasn't a wasted trip. and obviously always go and have like the meatballs in the restaurant. So I really just sometimes drive over there for lunch and a 50p container or something, which is ridiculous. I think the good thing about that place though, why it never really feels like a wasted trip, is the way it's laid out. Because obviously the displays are like showcasing everything they have, like soft furnishings, chairs, tables, beds, and everything's there. So everything in the display, you can get in that one shop, which is pretty genius, really, if you think about it. Like the ethos behind that, and that their construction stuff, how everything fits together with each other, the design element, and then the fact that um recycling like this, so it's all environmentally friendly, so you get people on board for that. And then just the fact it all fits together, and you're looking at a room and you think that's really nice, but you can get everything in there, and then you can pretty much style your whole house. Like it's bonkers, really. Like I think if I did have a lot of money, I think I probably would start my whole house with IKEA. Well, sorry, my chair's really squeaky today. That's really annoying. Um, yeah, I think if I did have the money, I think I probably would style my entire house with IKEA, especially, well, probably cupboards and stuff like that, and um, the storage solutions. Because it's one thing I really really like about IKEA is that the fact that it all fits together, and they keep things on for a long time. So say you go to like another shop and you buy like a cabinet or some storage solutions, they try and like change with the times. So they try and like change the shape and the size and stuff like that. And IKEA don't. Like their Billy bookcases, for example, is a great example. Is that they have stayed the same for like I think like 30 years, and they're like the most popular selling bookcase because they're always the same. So you break one, it goes. You can go and buy another one. It's exactly the same, maybe slightly different materials or methods of putting it together. Maybe they've improved like how it's packaged and stuff like that. But fundamentally, it's the same bookcase, and it'll go back where the other one would, and it'll fit just exactly. And then there's all the add-ons into it. So we've got the Bully bookcases in our living room, and like it's all modular, so you can decide, even though like it's the same carcass, you can decide whether you want it to be completely shelves or whether you want doors on the lower bit or the upper bit. And then you can buy an extension, you can have doors on that, or you can leave it open and put shelves on it. You can choose all different colors or finishes. You can choose if you want glass or just solid doors. It's so, and then you've got all your, you can change your handles. So even though like I've heard people say like, oh, I wouldn't like finish my house in IKEA because everyone has IKEA stuff, but you can really make it your own, really, and it's cheap. It's relatively cheap for what you get, especially like Billy bookcases and stuff. It can get expensive when you start doing what I've just said and like start taking the personalization into it. But yeah, I just think it's really good if you're trying to like storage solutions. And I say these ones I've bought today are like fit exactly underneath my work counters, and it's the first ones that I found. And I bought six of them because getting what you can kind of thing. So and I bought another little box as well, which was just, it was like a little plastic container, and I thought I can put my cables and stuff in there, my new cables that I bought, and anything if I'm just from on my desk for a quick grab kind of thing. Yeah, because you always have to have that first order retrievability as my well, I hope would be good friend. That'd be a dream if Adam Savage was my friend. Um, but yeah, just like that, like just reach over and grab something, and that's what I wanted. So I wanted a little box on my desk where I could just put like the cables for my stuff that are just within reach. And they had one today that was like similar color to the Steven Speak logo, so it was green inside and white on the outside. So I thought, well, I've got to have that. Um, and then what else did I buy? Oh, I bought some A4 files. Really, really interesting stuff today. And also we had to have like, I went with my mate as well, so it was me, Sarah, and my best mate Scott, and yeah, we had we all had meatballs because you kind of have to have the meatballs when you go there, and yeah, it was just a bit of a day out, But I think when you're getting old though, and you visit a shop like that, and especially when you're excited, and it does get me excited to go IKEA, as I said, but also I am a bit, I get like, I don't know. I dislike people in most shop situations, to be honest, especially when it's busy. And today, like for example, someone rammed a trolley straight into Scott, like, and I saw her do it, like, and she looked at him and just rammed it into him. It was completely deliberate, and I had to really bite my tongue. He apologized and moved out the way, and she was like, "Oh yeah, sorry." And I was just like, "Wow, you did that deliberately," and yeah, I had to kind of like restrain myself. Um, for Scott's benefit more than anything, because I think he'd have been really, really embarrassed if I'd have said anything. And yeah, but I was just like, why would you do that? And people are so rude as well. They'll cut in front of you, or you'll be stood looking at something, they'll just stand in front of you, and you're just like, wow, brilliant. Um, so that kind of spoils it. But it was really busy today as well, so it's obviously the thing that people have planned to do on a Sunday. Um, and that's one thing that I don't like about having an office job. Like, just going veering off the subject for a minute. Um, like when I used to work shift work, I used to like have like a couple of days off. Like my shifts changed, so I would have like midweek days off. So I might have like Monday to Wednesday off, or Wednesday to Thursday, Friday, or like Wednesday to Friday, maybe Saturday as well. So me and Sarah, because at the time she didn't work, and she only works part time now. So we could go places midweek. So we could go somewhere like IKEA on a Wednesday morning, and it'd be dead, beautiful. Just walk into the restaurant, get what you want to eat, walk around, come back out later on, have another little coffee. Beautiful, absolutely perfect. Unfortunately now I only get Saturdays and Sundays off unless I book a day off. So obviously Saturday and Sunday normally the biggest shopping days for people because everyone's off at the weekend, or majority of people are. Um, so yeah, it was a bit crap today for the business. Um, but you get the same looks on people's faces. Like I think they get into like I get excited when I first get there, and even if it's quiet, I go into this mode as well. That you start walking around the place, and you forget how big it is. Like every time I go, oh, big, it's a super huge place. But then I always forget how big the top floor is because you start off when you go to the entrance. You don't have to start off on the top floor, but it's like they kind of guide you around the upper floor. And I don't know whether it's like in every IKEA. I've only been in a couple, and this is my experience of them. Um, but you get in, and normally on the ground level there's some toilets. When you walk in, there's normally a kids' play area, which I think has been shut through COVID. I don't think many of them have opened again. But you can go straight through into the restaurant area onto the ground floor, so you can technically. There are little cut throughs and little secret passageways. Well, not secret. They're just like ways to skip bits of the store. Store. Starting to turn Swedish. Um, God, this chair. I'm gonna have to oil it. Sorry, I'm sorry about that noise. Yeah, so there are little cutaways and stuff like that you can get through. Even if you're upstairs, you can cut through sections, but it winds you around. I mean, it's fundamentally a massive warehouse at the back, and the front and part of it is just a shop. I suppose it's a big, massive showroom, and I always forget, as I've said, just how big the place is. And you meander around, and it winds you around all these different areas. So I think the one in Warrington, you start off with like, kind of like living room kind of stuff. So like settees and stuff like that. And then I can't even remember now. I've just literally just been, but there's that much stuff in that place that I can never remember the order of it. And then you just wander around, and you just become like snowblind to everything. Um, and people are just wandering around, and you like and I think the problem with the place is, in some ways, it's not a problem, but it is a problem, is that you'll see something on display, but it won't be available to pick up in that place, and it'll tell you where to get it. And sometimes you forget by the time you get to that part, or you don't see the thing you want. Um, but you end up buying something else. Like I always end up buying something that I don't really, really need. Today I was actually all right. I went with the intention of buying something dearer than I actually came away with, because I have some containers that I've got from IKEA that are like little A4 ones, and I've got like an A5 size one, and they're like stackable, and they all are like modular, so you can put them inside each other and stuff. It's really good system. Again, really good designers at IKEA. Um, and I decided to go for a cheaper version because I thought I don't really need them. They're going to be shoved under my desk. But again, they were made for 15 centimeter high, but they were like smoked plastic. The ones I got were just cheaper ones, like a third of the price, really. So I saved a bit of cash today, which is always good. But I actually went for what I wanted. I didn't buy anything extra, um, apart from a bag of sweets for Sarah. Bought some cola flavored elk heads of all things. Elks seem to be a theme there today. Anyway, yeah. So it just ended up wandering around, but everyone's faces are like they're in kind of like a zombie mode, like IKEA must walk this way, must pick up bargains, and you hear people squabbling as well, which is hilarious. You hear quite a few like couples nitpicking at each other. Yeah, I always find you get like you get several different groups of people. You get you can tell like the young couples that have obviously just got together, or they've just got their own place, or maybe just got married. You have the older ones that are trying to find a bargain but don't really understand how the place works. And then you've got families there with kids, and the mum's obviously redecorating, and the father doesn't want to do it and doesn't see the point in buying new things. And it's quite hilarious, like all the different demographics that are there. Like that kind of keeps me going on the way around. To be honest, I must admit that really keeps me going. Um, I'm basically laughing at people's misery. Even though that I'm normally quite miserable after about an hour in the building, but it does take you a while to get around, especially if you look at everything. It's one of them shops that, because of the way the displays are, it kind of encourages you to wander around and pick things up and look at things. And um, yeah, it's kind of a very hands-on place. And it does kind of make you hate your own house in a way as well, because they have so much nice displays, and you do think, oh god, I'd love to buy that, but then I'd want to buy that, and I'd want to buy that, and it kind of convinces you that what you see will fit in your own house, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. That's why I normally only buy storage stuff from there, to be honest, because the storage stuff fits around. I've got a few IKEA storage solutions, but I've never really bought like much more than that from there. I bought a bed from there once. I bought a cabin bed, um, much to my ex girlfriend's disappointment. I decided I wanted to buy a spare bed for my when I used to live in my other house. Very similar layout to this house, weirdly. In the spare room, it was my like cave, and I didn't want to. Probably trying to grow up a little bit. I thought, oh, yeah, I'll compromise and get a spare bed in there for my mum comes and visits and stuff, so I don't have to sleep on the settee and on the floor or anything. So I bought a double. They don't sell anymore, but it was really tall as well. Like, bearing in mind, like, I had like 9.5 foot ceilings in my old house, and it must have been about it must have been about 7 foot high. This thing, and it was a double bed basically, but it was a cabin bed, so I could literally pretty much stand underneath it. But it meant that I could get a bed in the spare room, have a spare bed, but also keep all my shit in there as well. So I had all my guitar still, didn't have to move anything. It was brilliant. So apart from putting it together, I had to empty everything out of there, put it together, shove it in, and I could just move everything back in. It was ace. Put my desk under it and everything. Brilliant. She wasn't that impressed with it though, because I think she was thinking, move some of your shit out, build a small double bed, and we have somewhere to sleep. But it was well comfy. And I've always loved cabin beds and stuff like that. I always wanted when I was a kid, so I loved it. Like I slept on it a couple of times when no one else was staying. I used to just sleep in it instead of my own bed. So yeah, it was quite fun actually to do that. And it was cheap, and like this massive huge bed made of solid wood. And it was like 170 quid, something like that. Like what the hell? Like, and it was solid wood as well. Um, I was a bit disappointed to see that go actually when I moved house. I was quite disappointed that I had to get rid of it because it was a bloody ace piece of kit. And had I known we were going to buy this place, I'd have probably kept it actually, and I could have worked things around it, I think. But yeah, but me and my mate Scott, we always say this when we go to IKEA actually, and this is like another point. Like me and him both did design together, and we always love like how they think of things, and I think Scott would say the same. Is how they like solve solutions and the design and stuff, and it's some of it's very retro looking, and but you can tell there's thought gone into stuff, not only like environmental, but just like thought of how you interact with stuff, and that's all what design is, isn't it? Like the thing that you're touching, and it should be like utilitarian, but it also should be kind of like nice. And I think IKEA, I think that's why I like them, because they kind of get that balance of things look plain, but they also are interesting, but they're cheap because they're plain. If you know what I mean. And I think that for me is like such a big thing, because I don't really like to buy things that are too out there. So their plain stuff really appeals to me. Weirdly enough, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I'm really weird like this with everything, to be honest. I think this kind of comes through probably with a lot of stuff that I've said on this podcast. Really, that I can just be really normal with some things and quite plain, and I like things to be quite basic looking. But then some things have to be completely out there, and I'm like that with clothes. I'm like that with like styling, like that with my house. Like I would like in my bedroom, I painted one of my walls Philadelphia Eagles green, midnight green. But I put glitter in the paint because they'd won the Super Bowl. And Sarah was quite surprised about that, but I was like, no, that's one wall. My room's white, everything's white pretty much in it. I've got one wall that's like wallpapered where my guitars are. One wall's wallpapered to look like wood, and my chimney breast is painted like this Eagles green with glitter in it. But everything else is quite plain, and the organisation of it is quite plain, and it's plain colours, and nothing's too out there. So, but I'm like that with clothes as well. Like I'll wear like jeans and socks and shoes, and everything will look quite plain. But I'll wear like a Hawaiian shirt or a big bright coloured top, or have my hair going mad or something like that. So I've always kind of had that thing, and I think that's why IKEA appeals to me. It's function, it's like form and function and design, and yeah, all rolled into one really. So I do appreciate that. But anyway, getting back to it, what me and Scott always say about the place is because it is quite a relatively reasonably priced place, and you can get stuff in there, and you just think, how can they even sell that for that? I mean, obviously it must be like massively mass produced, so obviously lower the cost so much, but I was finding there that you can get something in there that's I know you'll pick something up and it'll seem normally with furniture I would say normally this is with furniture, but sometimes with like maybe like lamps and things like that. But you'll look at someone and go, oh, that's nice. Looks a bit cheap though. And it'll be like a really premium price. Like really premium. And then there'll be something next to it that looks really, really premium. And it'll be one of the cheapest things in the shop. And me and Scott never really understand this. Like we've talked about this many times before. That I'm just like I don't understand. Like I don't understand how that concept is. Like some of the things that look super premium are the cheapest things in there, and it just boggles my brain. I don't understand. And I don't understand why people would pay for the expensive stuff when the cheaper stuff isn't much different and looks and feels better quality. Um, I don't know. It's bizarre. And it's something that you'll find around IKEA. And look, next time you go, have a look at that. Like, have a look for like just lamps and stuff and functional things that are like super good, but they seem really really high quality. And then look at other things like lamps that look cheap and tacky, and they'll be super expensive. It's a thing. Um, yeah, just but then you've got the lower floor. You have to walk around the lower floor to get out to get to the tills, and I would say there's like escape routes as you're walking through the upper bit. You can cut through to other bits because it basically like just well, I don't even know. I need a GPS when I'm in there to be honest, because I lose contract. I lose like complete concept of where I am in relation to the entrance or anything, because it comes just snakes you around. But you can skip bits as well because it snakes. You can cut through like the displays, and then there's like fire door kind of things that because there must be walls, so it must be like walled up inside. Then it snakes you around the wall bits through each wall bit, up and down, bit like a theme parks line, and then you come to the stairs to go down to the next bit, and then it kind of does the same, but a bit more open downstairs because it's where a lot of the stuff for upstairs is sold. And then you go into the warehouse bit where you pick your own stuff. So like a lot of the furniture and stuff like that, furniture and like the Billy bookcases and all that sort of stuff. You write the number down, and then when you go down into the warehouse bit, it'll tell you what row of stuff to get, and you go and pick your own crap. I mean, it's genius if you think about it because you don't have to have anyone waiting on for you. You don't have to go to it like Argos is a big shop in the UK, and you used to go into Argos and fill a little slip out of what you wanted because you looked in the catalogue already, and then they'd bring it out to you. They'd go and pick it from the warehouse. And IKEA have kind of like merged the concept of a shop display like room, and a warehouse all in one. So it's literally self service. And then there's some stuff you can't get in the warehouse, and you have to drive around to a different part, like the Warrington one. You have to like drive to a different service center for certain objects. You can't pick them up in that warehouse. Um, but yeah, it's a massive building. Um, and we were saying today, like, wonder how many products they have in there. It must be an absolute nightmare to like keep track of everything because the way it's stacked as well. Like things are stacked up in tens. Like there's not like a few things of each thing, so they have to keep repacking things, like restocking stuff. Like they're like the boxes that I bought today, they were stacked in. There was probably hundreds and hundreds of them. And that's why I'm guessing they can keep the prices so low, because they make them in such massive bulk. They know they're going to sell them, and they'll just do a run of a massive bulk, and then you know sell them at a cheaper price, and they'll fly off the shelves, and they've made a fortune because it's such mass produced stuff. But yeah, it's quality. I feel like I'm like being sponsored by them, but I'm not. It's just like I think sometimes you have like sometimes have an affinity for a product. Like when I was younger, Sony was the thing. I used to buy Sony everything. Sony and what was the other Iowa. Sony and Iowa. No, Iowa. I don't know how you say it. Sony and Iowa, because they were the two things I used to buy completely exclusively for any audio equipment, earphones, everything. Um, And then I think when you get a bit older, you care a bit less about stuff like that. Whereas IKEA, I think, is something that's like I don't know. It's just referred to as like a good place to go for homeware. I know some people do freaking hate it. There are some people that absolutely hate the place. And I don't know why that is. To be honest, I don't know why someone would you know, like so venomously hate somewhere. I know a couple of people that just will not go there at all because they think the products are crap and everything's crap and the building's crap and the restaurant's crap and it's just crap. It's just I give a shit. And don't get me wrong, like I don't love the place. Like it's a shop that I like. Um, but it's just one of them. It's just one of them places that I think that once you've bought something from and you see like how it fits together and um the longevity of their products as well. This is another thing as well, because I say the Billy bookcase has been around for so long, and the storage solutions that I bought like 12, 15 years ago that they still make. And that really pleases me because there's nothing worse than like, I find like buying something, and the really useful box company are very similar to this as well, because they keep their designs just constant forever, really. And that really pleases me for a collector of things that they keep things the same. Um, so you can have all your furniture matching, and that pleases me. I like that. Um, and I like the restaurant stuff. Like people moan about the meatballs and stuff, and they're nice, they're tasty. We had them today. Nothing wrong with them. Bit of gravy, meatballs. Um, one of the biggest things though, like coming to a close about IKEA, because I feel like I've rambled on about them far too long. Um, Seeing people leaving, seeing the depression on the face that they've spent so much money. And I think sometimes they don't think to measure the cars. And Lee Evans did a brilliant bit on one of his stand up shows about this, that the arguments and divorces that have taken place in IKEA car parks because they've bought so much crap and then they can't fit it in the car. And I must admit, I was buying a couple of things once and I measured my car, and it literally, I'd measured it and it fitted exactly, but it was literally the full length of my car. And but you see people like loading boxes and they're just stood there scratching their heads, and you think, yeah, you've not really thought this through, have you? Like, you're gonna have to come back for some of that stuff. Someone's gonna have to wait behind, and you do wonder what the people that they're solo are gonna do, because they've literally bought too much stuff and they're there on their own. And you think, wow, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I hear like a holding area where they'll keep stuff for you for a bit. I don't know. I'm hoping so, because I feel sorry for them people otherwise, because you know, the they're going to be in limbo otherwise, aren't they? And I'm not going to talk about the elephant in the room. It's getting it home and building flat pack furniture, because personally, I like building flat pack furniture, especially IKEA stuff. It's normally really easy, and the instructions are sometimes a bit hard to read because sometimes they're too simplified. But I said to Sarah today, like, I'd be quite happy to get a job in IKEA building the displays and making the furniture for the displays, because I quite like doing it. I really do. Um, so if anyone's out there that's got a flat pack furniture and needs assembling, I'm your guy. I won't charge. Just feed me coffee and maybe a bit of cake, and I'll be golden. Yeah, I just think it's just IKEA is just an experience in itself, I think, and it's a credit to the company. I think that it's been going so long, and it's kind of odd that they keep very similar same products, and even though they do innovate, obviously, but they've got a staple, and I think that's like kind of a key to them as well. They've had this staple going through the company for such a long time, and they've kept to that design, simple but effective, and it all works together, which is pretty cool. A bit like Lego, really, I suppose. Um, yeah, but yeah. Well, there's my little thoughts on IKEA and my trip today, and hope you enjoyed it. bit of a sedate one today because I'm quite tired today, and I'm a bit late doing the podcast, so I apologise. But I'm hopefully you've seen from Instagram and stuff that I've had some new deliveries. I've had some new Lego, hence the reason I've had to buy some more storage today to sort the old stuff out before I start putting the new stuff together. But I had to deliver Mixcast, my new equipment, so well on the way. I'm looking forward to the new series starting. I know this one isn't even ended yet. Going to bring this one to a close probably the end of September, beginning of October, probably at my birthday, like around my birthday, which is at the 8th of October. And then I'll probably take a break for a week or so, and then start the second season. And I'm hoping to start that with first episode will probably be me, and then after that will probably be some guests and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to how the podcast is gonna evolve, and gonna really research some stuff and actually get some topics you want to listen to. But just suggest some stuff as well. If you want me to talk about something, you think you want to know my views on something, just let me know, and we can do that. And yeah, but thank you very much for listening, and stay safe and take care of yourselves. And I'll speak to you soon.
You've been listening to Stephen Speak Podcast. I'd appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button.